Hey, good evening. It is Monday, August 22nd, the night before primary, and it's starting to get a little crazy over here. So let me bring in one of my first guests, Miss Danielle Dodge over there, FLO8. So, yeah, she's running for Congress in Florida District 8 over in the Brevard area, as well as Volusia, is it? I forget. I'm sorry.
No, Indian River.
Indian River, Indian River.
Yeah, Indian River and a little bit of East Orange.
Your microphone's a little funky, just so you know. So you might want to tell your hubby to correct that.
Okay. So the microphone is bumpy. You need to fix it.
So I know we have a few other guests coming in tonight to join us as well. Oh, here we go. It is the other one of my other good friends, Dr. Cindy Banyai.
Hello. Sorry, I was switching my mics up.
It's all good. We're all looking like we're having mic problems tonight too. But, so it has been a crazy primary. Like I was saying, we have more people joining in to really get this thing going because we have had an amazing journey. I know it's been for some of us, it's been over a year and a half. Cindy, I know you've been doing this for a hot minute too, because you and I have come from the previous election cycle.
Right.
Danielle, I mean, how long have you been running now? How many months has it
Since
been?
February.
Okay. So you've seen a lot. You've experienced more than some others can say they've experienced. And, I mean, the first thing that I could say is thank you. Thank you for running. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for standing up for, people's rights and doing what you believe is right for the community and for your neighbors, because, it's gotten crazy out there and these people are they're very persistent. They don't want to stop. And, they use money that they get from organizations like Moms for Liberty and all these other people that are just bad news for the state of Florida. We don't need that. We really don't. When you talk about freedom, we want to make sure that we are talking about freedom for everybody, not just a particular few. I believe in Florida. I truly do. That is why I'm fighting so hard to make sure that we do everything we can to protect Florida. But Cindy, what are some of your thoughts on what you've seen along the campaign trail recently?
Well, okay, recently or like you took me back and then you brought me forward. So
I don't know.
okay.
You know what? How about this? What is one of the craziest things you've seen throughout this whole campaign that stood out and it still remembers and you're like, you know what? I got to either do something about this or this just like, wow, it was amazing and just crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So I announced my campaign that I was writing for 2022 right after January 6th. Because my opponent in 2020 was at the Trump rally. There were buses coming from Naples. The Proud Boys were in Naples. Like there was significant Southwest Florida involvement in the January 6th and the attempt to overthrow the election. And that's when I launched my campaign. What I think has been crazy thus far is how so many people in the Republican side of the race it's like no big deal. Like it's just there were tourists, they were going here, they were going there. Just last week, my opponent did an interview on his Facebook page with this guy who calls himself a journalist. Got fired from the real news station, by the way, but did an interview with him. Dude Facebooked himself inside the Capitol, like going into the offices. Like no big deal. He's like, oh, I'm pressed. Like, dude, you got a Facebook page. But like that's been like the craziest thing for me is to sit here in 2022. I'm so thankful for the January 6th commission, but that there are so many people that look at that like it was a walk in the park, no big deal, just political speech, when it was a clear and direct attack on our democracy.
Agreed. It was definitely a crazy time per se in our history here in the United States, because I mean it's definitely a dark time, definitely an interesting time that really full of misinformation and it's really so sad because if they could actually see the truth of what they've done and what they're doing and how un-American and unpatriotic it is, I would imagine that they would realize that this what they've done is wrong. So how about you, D? What are you thinking? What's some of the craziest things other than January 6th? We know that was
Oh, I kind of think it's just the level of vitriol and hate that people have for no reason. Like, you could send out the most innocuous message in the entire world, and they'll come back and be like, "I hate your guts, and I don't, I'm not going to vote for you. You're terrible." And it's like, "Oh, you don't like technical schools?" And it's like, and that kind of thing. We've been sending out a lot of texts and helping some of the school board candidates too send out texts for the school board candidates. And it's amazing to me and pretty scary how invasive those messages from the Moms for Liberty and how it's really infiltrated to what people believe. We sent out one that was just like for Aaron Dunn, who's running for school board in District 2, and it just had like their qualifications with little X's, like, I went to college and I did this and that. And they're like, "You horrible groomer, I would never vote for you," and stuff. And it's like, yikes. I mean, there's nothing on there that said, you know what I mean? So I think that's kind of the scariest part for all of us. And that is, if we don't win, if we don't flip this place blue, it's not looking too good.
No, and I hate to say that it's really sad that we have come to this point in America that we're literally fighting to make sure that we save democracy because, these people are so gung-ho and bent to really take us out. And some of the things that I hear them say is disgusting, to say the least. They dehumanize us, they call us all these names, and really they think that's fine. And I'm like, you're supposed to be Christian folk, and
Right.
do you hear what you're saying? I mean, I get judged for not being a believer, but I'm like, do you see what you guys that believe do? Like, I just don't get that. And it's really sad because these are people that we want to make sure that we work with, that we take care of, because we're fighting for their rights just as much as we're fighting for anybody else's.
Absolutely.
And I want to make sure that we do things right. Ooh, somebody else joined in. Huh? Hopefully Caesar will get a chance to jump in soon too and say hello. But hey Caesar, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How about yourselves? Hello, everyone.
Good. So we're here just giving everybody a recap of the fun times that we've been having throughout this campaign journey and some of the interesting things that we've encountered. Cindy mentioned the January 6th. Danielle has been talking about just crazy Moms for Liberty and all the madness with that. So Caesar, what are some of the things that you've experienced while you've been out there doing your campaigning?
Too much to detail. From random people coming up to me asking me about, whether I'm hoping that the Dominion ballot things are going to work in my favor because they do a good job at fixing races. And of course, am I from the country that designed Dominion, from Venezuela or all kinds of stuff because I'm Hispanic, to a lot of the fun, internal politics that we get to experience in running a campaign. So it has been, I love education. Every chance I get, I either go back to school to get a certification or get another degree, but this campaign university has been an interesting experience and one that I'm going to take with me for a long time. And if at all anything, looking forward to sharing what I've learned for up and coming talent. It is a situation where you get put under a lot of pressure, but pressure makes diamonds. So if a diamond doesn't come out of this rough, I certainly will use this information to help another diamond form and kind of help this party and help this state in a way that is still needed. And I think it's going to still be needed after tomorrow. I think it's still going to be needed after November 8th. But you got to plant the seed and nurture it. And I think we're at that zenith, that cross point where we got to now start having a 6-month game, a 1-year game, a 2-year game, a 5-year game, and really start playing chess as opposed to playing checkers.
No, and that's true. That's one of the things I talk about a lot with people is, we need to invest in the party properly. I feel that we need to start really, like one of the simplest things that we can invest as a party is buying mobile billboards that can actually go across the state and really help with the marketing and the branding, like simple things like that can help and last not just one cycle, but multiple cycles. And really just be a good use of our marketing dollars if we sit down and do this properly as a team. And that was one of the things I've been wanting to do, but the money has been hard to come by. But if the money was there, these are some of the things that we would definitely do.
I was gonna say, I don't know, Ryan. I think we should just invest all of the money in just one or two candidates who are the most likely to win in our packed districts. Yeah. Just kidding. Coming from a red district, I think we got to build the bench across the state. I think we have to invest in every single race. Yep. We had the gubernatorial candidates coming. Nikki Fried, I hosted a house party for her this weekend because I was able to convince her that our district matters. Even though we are considered red Southwest Florida, we were one of only 5 districts that moved in the Democratic direction in 2020. And that was because of my campaign, our local DECs, and how we all work together with the down ballot and, up ballot candidates as well. And that's actually what I think we need to continue to build on. And so that there's no one left behind in the state, no seat goes uncontested, that we're having quality candidates, quality staff, quality volunteers, and that we're giving them a run for their money everywhere. They have packed these districts. What do they call them? Crack and pack. That's what they've done across this state. And it's
preach it, girl.
So yeah, I was like, let's keep going. Build the team, everybody. I've had more people come through my campaign and get hired out into the party and to work in other parts of the states. I can't even tell you at this point. People working around the country. We got to keep building up Democrats around the state and get us to believe in ourselves.
Absolutely. It's been really frustrating, especially like as a new candidate and having never run it for anything before, to come in and they say, oh, we're going to help you. Come on in, join the club. We're going to do this. And it's like crickets, and so we're out there running around like, oh, that's your job. That's your job. That's your job. That's your job. Oh, so, okay. But I mean, and that's okay if they, but like to tell you up front that they have, there's all this help that doesn't exist. But like Cindy is saying, we've worked really hard in my campaign to work with all the school board candidates, any candidate that intersects with my district. We have worked together across multiple counties to door knock together, to swap literature, to put out signs for each other, to phone call and stuff like that. We've helped them with their texting because my husband is kind of a technical wizard. And so we've, got a lot of different systems that other people aren't using that are much cheaper and stuff. And so we've been assisting some of the candidates with the abilities that we have as well. And I think that it's just really important. And then, because if we all get elected too, then we know each other and we can work together pretty fluidly already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always been one of my things, is making sure to connect with all the other candidates so we can all work together, because it's important to give each other some sort of support, because we're not getting that support basically from the upper echelon of the party that we'd expect. But hey, welcome to politics. You're on your own. Sink or swim, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess, that's kind of where it shows, the true warriors and the people that really, really want to do this. So, like I said, I commend everybody for really doing what you're doing, jumping in these races. It's not easy. It's not cheap.
And in all fairness, when it comes to, running a campaign alone, I think that we do a good job of bottoms up. I don't think we do a great job top down. So, I think we all have experienced good fortune to have good volunteers and people who actually believe in you, that they stuck by you from beginning to end. But they come off the bench just like us to step up and fill a void. But where I think it matters most is not even so much. I'm not even talking about money either. Just resources, or and things like that. So I think we have the best values. I think we have, this party represents what I believe is needed. It's a much more diverse. Our party looks more like the residents of Florida I just think that for anybody who's running for anything, whether it's dog catcher all the way up to governor, there should be, we should be building, we should be like grooming our, we're out, they count on me a lot on knocking on doors, right? I could knock on doors, I can make phone calls for other candidates, but whenever somebody comes out of our crowd, grassroots activists, to run for office, we sometimes wonder, so who's with me? It's almost like that Tom Cruise scene in that movie, right? Who's with me, right? Who's coming with me? He grabs the fish bowl and it's only a fish coming with him until that one person stands up and says, you know what? I'll go with you. We just need more of that. We just need more of that person who says, I'll go with you. And but we need it from, an established organization such as the party. And then I know that the party has to be very careful about, who they work with and things like, but there should be resources out there. So if at all anything, I'm going to make that my endeavor, regardless of what happens tomorrow, what the outcome is tomorrow. I just think that if we ever plan on making Florida a true representative of the people who live here, we're going to have to start, as Dr. Vanier said, start building that bench and a strong bench. Let's not, say we're building a bench and then leave the bench weak. No, let's build a really strong bench, and it starts August 24th.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Oh, don't mind me. I'm still nervous. It is.
I was gonna say, Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on with you? I mean, you got a big primary election tomorrow, but I know that tonight it's like you've done everything that you can, right?
Yeah.
Left it all on the field. So tell us.
I'm still here sending text messages, trying to make sure that we get last minute voters, people who haven't voted yet, to go out and vote. I mean, it's very nerve-wracking, I'm not going to lie, even though feedback and just kind of like, knowing what I'm hearing across the board sounds very positive in my direction, but I don't trust anything.
You never know until you know.
Yeah, you never know until you know, and I'm terrified, but at the same time, I'm ecstatic to look forward to what's next. This has been a long journey for me. I think I was one of the first candidates out the gate originally. I think there might have been one or two other ones ahead of me, but other than that, I was definitely one of the first few. So yeah, I mean, this has been grassroots. I've taken no money from any corporations. Everything has been basically my friends, my supporters, people who believe in me. People who believe in the fact that we could actually do good here in the state of Florida and really clean up the environment. And that's basically been my whole campaign. I haven't changed my stance since day one. It's always been the same thing. And that's what, makes me stand out from my opponents, where they're juggling to try to figure out how to, get at what I've done and how I've positioned myself, and they can't do that. So, but it's good. We've had an amazing time, even down to the end where, nastiness got thrown at us and all that. Thankfully I never did get a divorce. My wife is with me. We've been happily married for a very long time. And she's very excited for tomorrow as well. We look forward to winning at the polls, so that way we could shut the haters down, basically. And, really, the truth is that, nothing ever happened. It is what it is. It was a situation that got escalated for no reason, and the cops did what they were supposed to do, and I respect them for that. But at the end of the day, my name was cleared because I didn't do anything. So, if I knew that, if I knew that I had something crazy in my past that would have been brought up like this, then I would have never run. But, I know better. I know my past, and we left that there on purpose. So people would ask us questions about it, because it actually helps us talk about mental health problems in the state of Florida. And really, for me, it's about saving marriages, because a lot of people don't realize that postpartum depression affects a lot of women, and it doesn't just affect them immediately after birth. It affects them for a long time afterwards. Yep. And if it's not dealt with, it really becomes a problem. And So my wife and I have really decided that we want to focus on helping people have somebody to talk to if they're not understanding what's going on. Because I know as a man, it was very rough on my end because I wasn't understanding what was going on. And it was just interesting to see my wife have that switch of personality, going from my best friend to who are you, and it was very tough for me to deal with that. But luckily, I was strong enough and willing enough to work things out and make sure that she got the help needed because she needed help. So I'm happy that we're still here together and we're able to talk about it and really help people, that are dealing through a situation like that, really help them get the help they need. And, this is why I talk about a lot of the mental health stuff, including the psilocybin and even ketamine and all these different approaches that people have been taking lately to more natural, or even some of these old party drugs that are actually being used for counseling purposes. MDMA right now is on the board to be descheduled very soon because of the amount of legitimate uses it actually has, funny enough. Meanwhile, we all know that as ecstasy growing up, but right now it's actually being considered as an actual medication for couples therapy and for people who have issues that could use it. So yeah, I look forward to, really getting past this primary and going after Wilton basically, and making sure that we secure this seat, keep it blue, and do the right thing for the state of Florida, and really just start focusing on cleaning up the environment, which is my biggest focus. So I know we're supposed to have a few more guests jumping on, but there's been some crazy stuff lately, and there's been a lot of mudslinging on everybody's side over here. Oh, your kitty cat is funny. So I know one of the things that we were discussing recently was the January 6th thing, and it's going to be interesting because they still don't believe. And with the recent findings with Mar-a-Lago and him hiding documents and all these things that he's been doing, I mean, what's going to happen when they arrest him? Are these people just going to freak out and cause a complete civil disturbance throughout the state? I mean, I can't picture them sitting down quietly and taking this in and being, oh my, they've arrested him. Like, yeah.
I don't know if they have the coordination. Like, January 6th, I think, was a little bit more outside plan, since this is kind of they don't know when it will happen. I don't know that they have, any kind of plan like that. But I do know that the person that I'm running against in the general for tomorrow, after tomorrow, is, an election denier. He voted to overturn the election before and after the insurrection, as well as, is proudly endorsed right now by Donald Trump on his website. And, he needs to go. But the thing is that they're so very comfortable here. Nobody's really attacking us. We're like just a fly on the wall. We're like nobodies. And so I'm working on the sneak attack. Like, I don't think they see me coming, but they're going to be really surprised when I do. And so I'm kind of looking forward to that opportunity to be able to surprise a lot of people, because with the redistricting, one of the things that we gained was I think a 12-point swing from plus R23 to 11, because they wanted to give District 10 more Republicans because this district is so safe. So I think that gives us a huge opportunity to swing the middle of the people that are not fans of the insurrection, and Brevard County having the most people arrested for the insurrection and that kind of thing. So
I also believe that if you focus basically on what's going on, which is for you in an area with a lot of waterfront properties, you got to just focus on the waters. The water is going to be the issue, because if it doesn't get dealt with and cleaned up, their property values are going to go down. They don't want to hear that, so if you got to talk to them and what makes sense to them, and really what's going to trigger them in their own way. So when you explain to them, like, if you keep voting for this guy, your property value is going to go down because he ain't paying attention to this thing over here.
Everything's about the money. Yeah. Everything like the cost. Yeah.
You have to, and you have to explain it to them in their layman's terms, basically, because as Democrats, we could explain it to ourselves no problem, real easy. But when it comes to explaining it to the other side, you got to kind of pick and choose your battles. So, for example, this afternoon, of all things, I ended up on right-wing radio or video. I was on Periscope on one of these very right-wing stations, and I was deathly afraid that they were going to come at me. And funny enough, they actually embraced me. They were talking to me about marijuana and how awesome it is that somebody's actually talking about cleaning the waters. And this is somebody who is a Floridian, complete right winger, Trumper. Was I mean, like her first portion of the interview that I was on the side is him bashing Fauci, and I'm going, oh boy, I'm in trouble on this one. But no, just they were excited to hear about marijuana. They were excited to hear about the cleaning of the water, and they were super excited to be able to actually vote for somebody like myself, who is not Wilton. So we might actually have a surge of a lot of Republicans voting for blue guys if we keep talking about the right thing. And that's what I'm saying. If you're both of you, Cindy and Danielle, you both live on waterfront areas that you could just focus on that. And I think that's just going to be a resonating factor with everybody. I know you have that one river down by you, Cindy. That's
Caloosahatchee.
Yeah, sorry, I could never pronounce it right, so I didn't even want to try it.
That's our river.
I'm gonna have to remember that one.
You're gonna have to remember because that's your Lake Okeechobee.
Yeah,
we get the dump down by us, and we get the dump because Port St. Lucie has a good coalition of folks who comes together that always advocates for less disbursements, and so we get all the crap because everybody goes, yeah, no big deal. But I actually just went last week with a small business owner, charter boat captain, Republican fellow, found me on Instagram, said, hey, come on the boat with me. Let's have a conversation. I said, absolutely. I'll talk to anybody. Let's talk about the water. It's my number one issue in Southwest Florida. And he said that very same thing. Even when you get a disbursement from Lake Okeechobee that does not, cause harmful algal blooms and all that kind of stuff, it still kills our small businesses and our coastal businesses because of how it looks and how it smells, and they can't take people there and the fish die. So it's a really, really big problem for us here. But I will tell you also that fellow, cannabis too, that was the first thing that he said. He was a veteran. And he said, we absolutely need to have medical, recreational. The only thing that he and I disagreed on is the expungement and what to do with folks who are currently incarcerated. And I said, that's okay, because we can still come up with a plan on that. But let's get it to the people and get it into the doctor's hands too. Let's do that, right? And so we agreed on that. We agreed on government accountability. We agreed on supporting our veterans. So you're right. There's a lot of common ground in these districts. And I'm like you, Danelle, I'm R plus 13 now because they cut a bunch of Democrats out of my district because they're afraid of me. Because I pulled it in 1 point in 2020. So they pretend like they don't care, but in reality, they know I'm a sleeper. They know because I upset my primary opponent by 16 points in 2020. I wasn't even supposed to be here. So, so we know, they know. But I think we can find that middle ground because I'm too finding a lot of folks, they're tired of the Trump. They're tired of the rigmarole of it, and they find a lot of the attacks on our democracy shameful.
Yep. So just in case somebody made a little mention here, we do need to address the chemical herbicide overuse by certain agencies. So to address that, one of the things we've been discussing with people is precision agriculture, which is scanning the fields with robotics and drones and making sure we teach people exactly how much they need to use and not overuse, so we could avoid runoff and have these herbicides basically ruin our waters. We're also going to be focusing on bringing in cleaning stations, vortex bioreactors to start cleaning up the mess and doing it really super fast, which is what I love about this whole new technology coming in. So they're supposed to be arriving soon, so I'm looking forward for that. Sadly enough, I was told the 25th, so it didn't make it in time for primary, but yes, they'll be here, and I should hopefully have them working by September 1st, hopefully. And if we do, you will never see another manatee kill or fish kill in your area anymore, because we will actually not have that problem anymore. So that's one of my big goals, definitely, is making sure we address the water issue with LACO and all these other things, because I don't want to see any more discharge and no more deaths. So Caesar, Polk County, Lakeland, all that, man, like, how's that been? I mean, look, I've had to traverse the whole state, so I'm jealous of you all. You get to hang out in a little patch of the state, and you don't get to do anything. I started my drive at 88,000 miles. I had 88,000 miles on my car. I'm at 129,000 right now. So yeah, I've driven around the earth a little bit too much now. Uh, but you know,
I'm grateful I bought an electric car in 2019. I'll just say that.
uh, yeah, I wish my car drove itself. That would have been nice too. But no, we still got a lot more to driving to do. We still got a lot more to go around this whole state. But you know, what what are some of the things that you've learned along the way with the people that you've gotten to meet? Z's?
Well, this district is 3 counties, so it's still quite a bit of driving. Uh, Polk County, well, uh, it's a really, when it comes to this district, Polk County is actually one of the smaller proportions of this district. The majority of it is Hillsborough County,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's south side of Pasco, which is Wesley Chapel. Then it's pretty much 90% of Hillsborough, and then it's kind of like the west side of Polk County, which is Lakeland. And to be honest with you, this is my stomping ground. This is, I'm the only candidate that has lived here for over a year, and I've been here 20 years.
There you go.
The other candidates were either just recently drawn in because of the new redistricting, or they came down here to run for the seat, So, but every single address, with the exception of maybe one, no matter how the line is drawn, I've lived in District 15. So, I've coached kids here. I've coached baseball here. I think I've held something like 11 different positions with the Florida Democratic Party for this particular area, from, being a chapter president of the Hispanic Caucus to being the state president of the Hispanic Caucus, from being a secretary, treasurer, vice chair of the DEC to being a precinct captain, to even outside of FDP, where I'm on the audit, what they call efficiency committee for the county, where my job is to audit every single department to make sure that they're equitable and serving the community fairly. So, this is my stomping grounds. This is where I do all my work for free, aside of my normal day job and having my side business and being a dad to 2 daughters and a husband. So, the people know me here. So, that's why, I made an emphasis in the very beginning about, when the party makes a decision on who they're supporting, when we start looking at, what type of candidates do we want to represent that district. You would think that it would be somebody who's been living here and has been participating in the FDP infrastructure for such a long time. But look, I understand, how politics works and politics within the politics. But fortunately for me, quite honestly, I'm in a race with 5 candidates in this primary. So I'm one of 5. And some people are pretty surprised that there hasn't been really any mudslinging. We are very competitive, and one person has an advantage over one area and another person has an advantage of another area. But fortunately, we've been really civil and cordial to one another, and quite honestly, have actually developed some really good friendships. That I think that we've all made a commitment that no matter what happens tomorrow, that we're going to work together to make sure that this seat is blue, because it's an open seat because of the redistricting. But to your question, what have I learned about the people here? So I'll be honest, it's the day before election. Here's what I know about this particular district. One, we have the potential of winning this seat, even though they rated an R+5.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is the independents and NPAs are going to make a major part of the difference. And a lot of those, almost, I would say the majority of all of them are centrists, 1 foot left, 1 foot right. But I think that they're left leaning on certain issues. The Hispanic community has grown immensely. So how do you win in November? Well, you elect the Hispanic on the ticket, right? That's one way of winning. The Black community has certainly been more organized and has done some really good things. So, if you want to win in November, what do? Well, elect the person who has strong ties to the Black community. Again, so I think these are my strong points because I play a leadership role in both of those communities. But sometimes we just take it for granted in the primary, and sometimes we just elect the person that raises the most money and sends the most mailers out and does the most phone calls or things like that. So it becomes extremely challenging. But I know what the people are looking for. They're looking for honesty. They're looking for someone who could tell it like it is. And when somebody says, hey, I have to make life choices at the pump, do I fill up my car or do I save a little bit to go buy groceries? They want somebody who understands how that feels to make those type of decisions. Somebody who puts their kids through public schools, somebody who served their country. I'm a third generation veteran, so somebody that people can relate to every single day.
Yep.
I always believe that the best candidate is the voice from within. But again, I've developed a really good relationship with most of the people that I'm running with. There's still two I don't really know too much about, but two others that I've actually grown to know them a little bit more. And when people ask me today, so Cesar, how do you feel? How do you feel about this election? How do you feel about tomorrow? I give everybody my same answer. And trust me, I've had press call me today too. And I tell them, I've already won. Because every candidate that I've spoken to has already adopted some of my platforms, have adopted some of my ideas and policies. So the reality is that this is the best time right now for the party to start coming together and start nipping at each other's heels and taking shots and realizing that tomorrow we're going to have a winner in each of these races. And I know I did my part. One, I made everybody sweat and work harder, because now, let me tell you something, these candidates probably never have visited the Hispanic and Black community as much as they did until I joined the race. So there's some good things that come out of it. But again, I've developed really good relationship. I tell people I've already won. My message is already out there. All the candidates, they're on notice that if they want the vote from this community, they're going to have to step up for this community.
I just want to say to all the underdog candidates, it can be done. In 2020, I won my primary against somebody who outraised me sixfold. So if you're a hustler and you're with the people, anything can happen. So don't let them know.
If you put
the
work in, you'll get it. So we just got our two friends over here to join us, Rebecca and Anthony. So Becca, I know you've been out there doing the hard work. So how's it been going up in the Panhandle for you?
Well,
you can give everybody the good news. Actually, start with that.
So, in case this is the first you've managed to hear of it, because I've been talking about it since about midday, we won our appeal. Despite everything that was tried to keep us from going toe to toe. And I'm sorry, I know my bathroom is right behind me. Like I said, I just got home, the house crazy. I had the wrong time zone. I thought this was supposed to be my time. And, of course, I forgot all you Eastern timers. Forget about the Panhandle being central. But we won. And we won unanimously. And I didn't know what if that would happen. So for the last several weeks, ever since I got ambushed at Leadership Blue, we've been trying to operate full speed, not knowing if it was for nothing. And now we know, and there's nothing they can do. And I just honestly, more than anything, I'm glad for my team who put all their sweat and tears and heart into this. It's great. I forget what the first question was. Oh, how's it in Panhandle? Raining. I got rained on all day. I'm just like in my gym clothes, stinky and smelly, and I got to get up. Obviously all of us are early tomorrow hit the polls. I guess Anthony doesn't have to worry about that, which must be nice. Or Cindy, now that I remember that, all these unopposed people who didn't have sham candidates who live in other parts of the states try to kick them off the ballot using DeSantis's racist SB 90. That's the other paper.
I was sweating for you too, so just FYI.
One of the other great things is that in its decision, the court nullified part of SB 90. Ooh. They ruled it unconstitutional and unfounded. So even though I was trying to take a shot at DeSantis, I got one in anyway.
And you know what? That's awesome, because we actually filed a constitutional challenge to SB 90 on the specific point of your case, and it was we had to appeal it because they dismissed mine because I was already running and they said it didn't count. But the principle of the case was your case, and so that's awesome because that vindicates our pro se case.
Yeah, I mean I'm gonna owe that lawyer a lot. Well, I owe money, but also a lot more than money. Everyone does, because people have been voting. I mean, tomorrow's election day. Every ballot that was cast so far was cast without knowing whether or not it would count.
Yep.
That's horrendous. It's unacceptable from any party, but especially our own. And we're hoping it didn't have too much of an impact on things, but we won't really know until tomorrow. But this is the second time in 2.5 years I've actually won. The first time was when I was in my mom's trailer in Mississippi filming for the documentary, and I got the email from my lawyers on camera saying I got whistleblower protection. Those are the only 2 victories I've had in all of this in 2.5 years. Everything else is still pending, or it's like waited until I was in the dirt to just kick me down harder. And this time it was almost at the expense of every single voter in my district.
Oof.
And
you're still here. You're still fighting. You're still in it. So, Anthony, how's it been out there in Brevard? How are you doing over there?
Hey, I'm just trying to be as supportive as I can to all the candidates in my area. Danelle and her lovely husband, Andrew, come down and we meet often and talk often on the phone. The school board races are ending tomorrow, and that's a big deal because I think it's crunch time for our campaign as soon as tomorrow is over with. I'm assuming people are going to take a few days off before they come knocking at my door and saying, hey, I need a small break before I go campaign for you. But outside of that, I'm overly excited about the candidates that are running. I'm overly excited about the energy in the room. There are some candidates that just don't belong, and I get that, and I can see it, and I feel it. But ultimately, I'm loving the way the party can move forward if we so choose to make it that. Yeah. So,
and that's what we're hoping. We're hoping for that unity on the 24th after everything is all said and done, and hopefully we get to find out who our lieutenant governor candidate is as well quickly enough, so that way we could all rally against the candidates properly. Yep. I look forward for the coordinated campaign to really help us out. It's politics. It's Florida politics. Anything can happen. So any of you can move on. Any of us cannot. And I've experienced this last time as well too. It's just, you never know until the end. So as long as you know that you put in the hard work, I know I hustled. I made sure I got signs out wherever I possibly could with the little money that we had for a statewide race. So believe me, we did everything we could. and honestly, it was definitely more than my opponents. So yay. Let's make sure that works and that all the hard work that we've all put into really goes in our favors. I look forward to working with all of you moving forward as well and making sure that we do all the right things. Rebecca's had a hell of a journey. She's definitely had one of the craziest journeys out of everybody here. I mean, I gotta give you props for that. I do, because you're a survivor, you're a fighter, and by gosh, you're still here trying to kick some booty. So Go for it. You got this. You definitely do. You have proven yourself to be more than honorable to be a congressional person and representing Florida's District 1. That would be amazing. We need Matt Gaetz out of there. We need people like Sabatini out of there. We need all these crazy lunatics out of there. Randy Fine. I can't have these people anymore. They're just ruining Florida. They're bad for Florida. I know with Caesar's race, you got Senator Kelly Stargell that needs to go. Somebody please retire her already. In my area, I actually have the honor of having to deal with Laura Loomer. And yeah, I'm like, it's sad that I'm actually cheering on for Daniel Webster. It is the saddest thing that I ever have had to do in my life. And I'm like, please just vote for Daniel Webster. We do not need Laura Loomer in Congress. That is just bad news. Like, please, that is not somebody you want in Congress. Really should go up.
Is she going to be better or worse than Bobo and MTG?
You know what? I would probably give her the worst because she'll start going after Ilhan Omar and all the Muslims in Congress and stuff like that. And it's like, no, that's not what we need you to do. But apparently that's your brand, right? And she has to stay on brand of being the biggest ding dong on the planet. It doesn't respect anybody. And I just don't get what the cat lady look is all about either. That just boggles my mind, the amount of plastic surgery that's gone into that woman's face. And she's young too. I'm like, why would you do that to yourself? I get it if you're in your 50s and you want to get a little bit of a
let's not go down the road of criticizing women for having plastic surgery. One thing is to degrade and denigrate.
We went on there, Ryan. I think you better back up.
I know. Here's why I say women are naturally beautiful. There's no reason for it. Please don't touch yourselves. I promise you're all beautiful.
Okay, we're getting into some weird dialogue, and I feel like there's going to be like clips of this, being replayed.
We're good.
There's my daughter. She says hi.
Oh, hi. Yes, we're all friends here. We're all having a good laugh. But no,
and it's such a good thing we're all in each other's ears instead of out loud.
No, but definitely we're having to really deal with a lot of funny characters, and it's funny because it's like the villains that we're dealing with from the superhero comics or something, with Roger Stone and everybody. But we got superheroes like Cindy over there with the boxing gloves and all the skills that she's got. So we got to give
my original one from when I was a pro in Japan.
Wow.
Oh, wait till you see the boxing video I'm unleashing in a few weeks.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, yes. It's my whole theme of our campaign from moving on is fight like a girl. And I know how to fight. So we'll be using that.
So a few minutes left. I figure we'll let everybody do the last 2-minute splurge for the pre-primary. Either whatever you want to say, give everybody a good luck wish or whatever you want to do. I'll start with Caesar since he's kind of quiet over there.
Sometimes there's a phrase in Spanish. It says I won't go into it because there's so many folklore phrases. But no, quite honestly, look, like I said in the beginning, this has been a university for me. It's been a learning experience, and I still believe that I am of the better candidates that are here because I am a voice for within. I have faith in my community, and I'm one of those candidates that don't disappear after election. I've been here yesterday, I'm here today, and I'll be here tomorrow, and I'll be here the day after tomorrow. That's just who I am. That's how I was made. And I'm really excited about the direction that this party is going into with all of the new candidates stepping up and taking the hard task of running against the establishment, running against all odds. I am also a big, Rocky underdog type of, I'm a Giant fan. I'm a New York Knicks fan, so I'm all about being the underdog. That's all I know.
I'm a Dolphin fan. My God, I've been an underdog my whole life.
But quite honestly, I think we're all on the right track. We all believe in the right things. We all want to see the right things done for our community, and we all have met adversity at one shape, way, form, or another. And I think that we just cannot give up. We need to keep pushing forward. And quite honestly, I'm looking forward for opportunities after November 8th to meet up with everyone and kind of do an ask, in the military. I was in MI, military intelligence, and I also did a lot of other stuff in the military. And one of the things that we do all the time is after action reviews to talk about what went well, what didn't go so well, where we could have pulled resources. For many, I think Dr. Banya, I think I've had maybe more than one or two conversations with her. Rebecca Jones, I think I met you at one of the galas. But for the real for the bigger picture, I haven't really been in the same room and had many conversations with all of you. And maybe that's what needs to happen so that we can learn about what worked well for you. So and that way we can incorporate that, or we can pass that along to the next generation of people who's going to run in the next 2 years, because that's a presidential year. And if we think this was hot,
So,
this one is going to be real hot, because we're going to have a wannabe governor, wannabe president, right? We're going to have, and plus we have a resident in Florida that is teasing running just to kind of jerk the Republican Party around. Which we don't mind, right? Let them go into civil war, right? But at the same time, who's going to step up for all the other things? Because, we have to win. We got to do our very best to win governor, because if he runs for president in 2024, that means whoever's lieutenant governor is going to become governor, right? So it becomes an even more scarier thing. So we have to pull our resources, we have to pull our knowledge, and maybe Ryan, maybe this will be a great conversation for after November to talk about, maybe kind of like a weekend retreat that's structured in a way that we can actually talk about, resources and what, and do that type of stuff. And just to make it stronger for 2024, because we're going to need it. And
actually,
honestly, that's my spiel. So best of luck to all of you. Those of you that don't have a primary, lucky you. And but wish us all well. But I actually believe, judging by what Ryan has told me about each of you, that regardless of what happens tomorrow, I know you guys are still going to be around after that. And that's something that this party needs to count on. This is something that community needs to count on. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Caesar.
And I'll just say, Caesar, I mean, you said a lot of great things, and I appreciate that. Look, I know I'm already a professional at being an underdog at the swing set with my 5 kids. And I plan on being a professional underdog going against Randy Fine, who's just a piece of shit and needs to be retired.
Yeah, they all do.
And I think the after action report get together would be great, as long as we can cross timelines over in Rebecca's neck of the woods. We can all get our families together and just do a big cookout.
Well, we could actually do something here at the farm. So.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like you got plenty of lettuce behind you. We can.
But no, we have a lake house. We have the lake house area that we could do the whole camp out in the whole 9 with the family.
That'd be sweet.
Yep.
So.
You fancy people in the homes that you own, aren't you just so special?
Well, that's the farm. I'm renting over here, so I deal with rental issues over here. Damn these HOAs or these.
But ultimately, good luck to everybody. Even though I don't have a primary and everybody's making fun of me.
No, you got a lot of work ahead of you too.
I am super stoked to see where everything goes, and like I said, I couldn't be more proud of all the candidates that I've met, and I'm excited about what's ahead of us. So tomorrow is a big day for everybody.
Yes, it is. Dee, what do you got to say?
Anthony, I think, honest to God, after all the people I've met, I think you're the best of us. I mean, that sounds like super. No, I meant you're always cool and level-headed. You always see the plan. You don't get distracted. You're very focused. And even okay, granted, I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen the last 2 years, but it's hard not to be distracted from it. And you've just been like a solid person. Just hold on.
I appreciate that.
After, everything that happened to me with this crazy, SB 90 thing, I love you guys. I haven't eaten today yet, which is why I'm gorging on chips. I have to go because we have to go do our thing, and I'm still not done yet. But
I just
yeah,
want to say good luck tomorrow, and
thanks.
we look forward to saying congratulations in the evening. But yes, good luck, and we shall hopefully have a bunch of winners here moving on to the next round and,
It'll be
going
great.
from there. So
Yes.
thank you, Rebecca.
Guys, and remember, just tomorrow morning, everybody, even if you don't have a primary, send out an email and tell people to vote, because a lot of those races that we don't think about, like school board and stuff, they're going to be decided tomorrow, and people need to show up to vote for those too. So,
Yep.
all right. Well, I love you guys. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Well, Dee, what are your thoughts?
I was just going to say, actually, well, since I got into the race second, I don't know if my opponent was as happy about the fact that we had a primary. But I actually feel like the primary has done a lot for us. And I don't think that we would be the candidates we are today if we hadn't had this primary. So I'm grateful for the primary. Now, I hope to win it, but I do know that, we've put in a ton of work. I started out running by tweet. I'm like, I'm going to run for Congress on Twitter. And then 1 hour later, I got a message from the candidate chair for the Brevard DEC. And she says, would you like to meet for coffee? I was like, okay. So 2 days later, we met for coffee. And then 3 days later, I was giving my first speech at the Brevard DEC. And then it just took off from there. And I've just become a completely different candidate between now and then. And so I appreciate that. And I feel good. I feel like we are going to win this, and that people didn't believe it was possible because she's been, I've been working on it. She said, I've been working on it for 2 years and I've been doing all these things and everything. But I think that we're the dark horse, and I think we're going to take it tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to bringing her, hopefully her along and her team too, and to beat Bill Posey, because that's our goal.
Cool. Cindy?
And good luck to you, Ryan, and Caesar tomorrow.
Yes, I know.
And anybody, I'll just say that Danelle is an amazing poet. So if you ever need her to write something for you, that's your gal right there.
There you go. Good job.
Good to know.
Well, I'll give you a preview. So I'm Dr. Cindy Banyam, the Democratic nominee for U.S. House of Representatives, Florida 19. I'm a mom and small business owner fighting for our water, our health, and our community. And I am working to create a Florida where the sun shines on everyone. And that means everyone in our state, not just a handful of folks, not the folks who have the big fancy homes and the nice cars. It is the renters. It is the people who just moved here. It is the people who are a little bit different. And that's what's really important to me, because I'm running against somebody who is just noted on MSNBC to be working heartily to defund our public education at both the state and the national level. Absolutely backed by Donald Trump. Thinks January 6th was A-OK, and absolutely doesn't think that women deserve body autonomy. So I am happy to be on the front lines of that to unseat Byron Donalds, because his next step, by the way, is conference chair. So he's going to be number 3 in the party if we let him win this election. So we should all be very concerned about how the far right is taking over the GOP, even more so than it was. So I'm going to do the regular pitch. No one made their pitches because you guys are having your primary tomorrow, but my Act Blue is still open. So you can absolutely go ahead and give those dollars that you would have loved to have given these primary candidates. You can give it to me. You can go to my website, cindybanier.com, and click the donate button up at top, because I'm open, because I'm already the Democratic nominee. And then when they win their primary tomorrow, you can go ahead and give them some more love as well, because that's what us grassroots candidates need. Every dollar is at work with all of us. And thank you so much, Ryan, for having us here. I'm feeling very excited and really looking forward to supporting everybody after the primary tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, Anthony, you might as well do that drop, because she got you on that one. You might as well do your drop, since you still collect, right?
Listen, standwithyance.com/donate. My Act Blue is still open as well. And yeah, I'm excited to gain the support of all the folks, regardless if folks win or not. We need to stay together, and we need to keep pushing forward, because it's the next time around, and we'll just be that much stronger. So,
and I'll say I have donated to Anthony and Ryan, by the way.
Thank you.
All Ryan has done is given me signs
And
to
headaches.
place out and headaches and ghost hunting tours. That's
Woo!
like the best
That was
thing I've
awesome.
received from you.
That was awesome, though. That was really cool.
But yes, no, thank you, and everybody have an amazing night, and even more amazing tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. We want to make sure that everybody has a awesome 24 hours, because in 24 hours we're going to know who the starting lineup is.
I wrote my victory speech. Did you write your victory speech?
I actually have to do one in Spanish and English because I actually have Univision and NBC joining me tomorrow. They're going to be
Wonderful.
at my watch party, and I'm really nervous about that. But
Hey, why don't we all start a group chat somewhere, and then we can all just give the thumbs up, after we get the results, like legit. Just, well, I mean, mine. I'm just going to be a spectator, apparently.
Aren't you going to be my party?
I don't
figure
know
something
yet.
out.
I'm supposed to be at a caucus meeting tomorrow night.
Oh,
Because I
That
know
caucus meeting is canceled.
I know, right?
What caucus meeting?
This the LGBTQ, the Space Coast Pride. They're
on
having their
tomorrow?
meeting tomorrow.
And they're not doing a watch party?
They're putting me first because they know I want to go to a watch party. But they said that their members wanted to meet me in person first.
Okay.
And I'm like, why would you do this on a
You're not even running on the primary.
I know.
But tomorrow I get to have a little bit of fun because even though it's election day, it's my wedding anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary.
So that's why I say no matter what, I'm winning, right? So
yeah.
no, so I actually we're going to where it all happened, where we had our first date. So we're gonna have a dinner with the family, and it's gonna be a simple watch party with family. What's that?
You can't take her to McDonald's like that again, bro. That's
No.
terrible.
She's not a McDonald's gal. I can tell you that right now. She made me pull out the card.
Oof.
But she made me pull out the plastic to prove that I was worthy. Yeah. I'm glad that it's on my anniversary because it'll distract the mind a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when I get home, I get to turn on the TV and I get to be around family and friends and neighbors and just celebrate what this district actually had some really good campaigns, really good forums, really good debates, really good interactions. And I know I came a little bit hard on being able to support candidates because I really do think that is what's needed going forward. But when it came time, from a local perspective, we pulled together and we made, I think every candidate became a better candidate because of all of these caucuses and clubs and endorsements and forums and debates. And again, I really, truly believe that this was a learning experience, even for the person who won or even for the person that comes in fifth place. I think that our party has become stronger, I think, in this cycle more so than any other cycle. We just got to continue that momentum and just be really, really good citizens in this party to make sure that we not only take it now, but we take it in November and we take it in 2024 because it all counts and it's all relevant. So I hope everybody enjoys themselves tomorrow. Have a lot of fun. If you throw up a bottle of champagne and wine, make sure you toast to everybody throughout the state. And if you guys do happen to have a video, just certainly let me know. I wouldn't mind jumping on and helping celebrate for everyone as well as I'm planning on celebrating regardless tomorrow. So
Got it. Well, I definitely look forward to hopefully having a victory speech tomorrow with no problem. I definitely want to thank everybody who has helped me get here so far. I want to thank Adam Neal. I want to thank, my family, my wife, yes, Tammy. I need to thank her because, she's taken a lot during these last few months, basically handling the family by herself and taking care of the house with a brand new dog and everything. So I know that's been stressful on her. So hopefully we'll be able to give her a break very soon. But she knows that once we win this, it's going to be all hands on deck, and we got to just move at lightning speed. So she gets it. And I'm very thankful to have her by my side, because she is my rock here. And then without her, I would not be able to do this. And, just thank you, all of you. Caesar's been great. Anthony's been awesome. Rebecca, Cindy, Danelle. It's been an amazing journey, and meeting everybody throughout the state this whole time. So 24 hours, we'll know what's up. I look forward to hearing from all of you in the next 24 hours.
Thank
And,
you.
Team.
Thank you, everybody, and have a good night. And let's do this in the next 24 hours. So fingers crossed for everybody, and let's do this. Cheers.
Good night.
Let's do this.
Good night.
Night.